Is the UK the worst place on the earth? I live there. Yeah, it's fucking cold and miserable and shit and everyone hates each other. But Waves is going to tell us about why it's the worst place on the earth. Okay? So, here we go.
Good morning, Glenn!
Fucking shit.
You tell us something your mum doesn't know. Yeah.
Wow.
This might be the most difficult video I've ever made in my entire life, just because it hits a little bit too close to home. If it wasn't obvious enough on my accent, I mean it isn't. I'll be so real, I'll scream and speak hella fast. I was born and raised in the hellscape that is England. And as much as this place to other people is advertised as some apocalyptic wasteland where we fight for our lives, or a bunch of cannibals and eat people to survive and look like a bunch of bums,
Not like last time.
well, it might as well be, because England is terrible. It's garbage. It sucks here. It's not hospitable. It's uninhabitable. It might as well be on fire and
The only thing I don't get with, like, the UK hate, right? I admit it's a bit of a shithole. Fucking everywhere is a shithole. Like, if you went to every country, they would say it's a shithole. Yeah, it's just the weather. Bro, if the UK was sunny, like, all the time, like, when people come to the UK in the summer, they fucking love it. If it's a nice week, because the UK is a great place. It's literally just the weather that makes it shit, and then a lot of the time the people are miserable. But apart from that, it's fucking fine.
and I wouldn't be making this video bashing where I come from unless there was so much negatives outweighing the positives
Tell
here.
me.
And unfortunately, there are. Don't get me wrong, I'm grateful that my parents were able to give me a good life and settle here. And there are a lot of benefits that come with living here too. The school life wasn't half too bad. The cartoons were dope as hell here, like Horrid Henry and Peppa Pig. I had free
Facts.
transport up until I was 18 since I lived in London. Bitch, we have Greg's. And the best of all is British tea.
Oh, Greg's is fire, but tea is overrated. I can't lie, I'm a coffee guy. Tea is just, unless if you chuck a load of sugar in it, it tastes nice.
Bitch, we have Greg's. And the best of all is British tea. Oh my days, it's succulent, it's amazing, it's wonderful, it's the best drink ever invented. You get some digestive biscuits and dunk it in that hole, and it's a phenomenal experience. You feel like you're levitating. And we got free healthcare. But still terrible. But beside all of these perks and some of the good things here, they don't beat the bad things. Ladies and gentlemen, I've seen from the start
Okay, what's he going to say is the bad thing? He's going to say the weather, he's going to say the people. That's about it.
about my channel that the majority of you who watch my videos are Americans. I pray for you lot, man. And now it is time I enlighten you and give you the tea on this horror.
The food ain't even bad, bro. Food's good in the UK. It's just we've got a couple of staples that you lot think are weird, like beans on toast bangs. Shut the fuck up.
And give you the tea on this horrid place, beginning with everything is stupidly expensive here. Now, I've already mentioned before.
Okay, well, that's just wrong. Everywhere is experiencing inflation. America's, like, every Western country. I don't know about Eastern countries. Everything's expensive fucking everywhere. Go to Europe. I went to Greece, supposed to be a cheap place. It was so fucking expensive.
That the job market in this land is nowhere to be seen. Applying to jobs feels like you're working one in itself. But that's one half of the problem. The other half is, however, how much you make at your job isn't enough here. It can't do shit. The UK has the most unsustainable living standards I've ever seen in my entire life. The basic essentials you need day to day feel like a luxury now. People are out here overpaying to survive. It's mental. As soon as you get that sweet 2 to 3K paycheck in your bank account, by the end of the month, with all the bills and taxes you pay, all that you'll be left with is a couple of pennies and your grand.
I'm sorry, if you're an 18, like I'm 19, right? If you're 18, 19, bro, and you're earning like 2, 3K, how the fuck are you spending all of that? Like, I could get it if you were having to pay for like your own food and rent because of your situation, fair, all right? But if you're like living at home, like I know kids in my situation living at home earning twice the amount of money that I have been because I've been doing this fucking content shit and still going through all their money. Like, I go to the gym 4 or 5 times a week. I pay for that membership for the month. I maybe go get food, like not like a proper meal, but I'll go get like a Mackey's or a Pepe's once a week. That's a tenner. In all fairness, I don't drive very much, so I don't spend that much on fuel. Yeah, what else are you fucking... People just splash money down the drain. I don't get how. To be fair, if I could pick a spawn pot, I wouldn't pick the UK. Yeah, I'd agree that people make the UK to seem like so much worse than it actually fucking is.
You pay, all that you'll be left with is a couple of pennies and your granddad's lucky lollipop. Cause how are we meant to survive here? The most you could do with 2 grand in London is to go ahead to gamble that shit and try your luck to make more money. Cause that isn't...
Okay, yeah, I'll admit, London's expensive, especially if you're having to pay for rent and stuff. But if you're 19, you're living with your parents.
Gamble that shit and try your luck to make more money. Because that isn't gonna cut it anymore. It's rough out here. I've realized that as much as I may have bad saving habits and spend much more than I should be on Uber Eats and Just Eat, I mean, you can't blame me. I'm just a...
That's exactly the fucking problem. I'm not moaning at this kid. You can do whatever the fuck you want. This kid, he sounds like a kid. That's not an insult. He just does sound young. Bro, okay, yeah, I could understand if you start spending like 50, 60 quid a week on food. Yeah, boom, there's 200-300 quid gone. Then if you add that on, but like, just don't spend that. Just go out for food like once a week. It's not hard, bro. Just cook what's in the house.
Man, I got needs, bro. Even when I do my best to save my money, I end up spending a bunch anyways. And it's not my fault. There's always a bill to pay here. It doesn't matter whether you live at home, in a junkyard, or you're in a simulation. There's a bill for almost everything. It's as stupid as there being something called a TV license, wherein wanting to use channels like BBC iPlayer or ITV, you now need to pay around £15 a month to use them. Nobody, and I mean nobody out here pays for that shit. The TV license doesn't stop you from using the channels and watching them.
Do other countries have a TV license? Yes, many countries have a TV license, including Germany, Ireland, Japan. Yeah, so it's not just the fucking UK. He's naming a lot of things that are like coming, like that are a problem with like high cost of living and whatnot, but it's not specific to the UK.
The TV license doesn't stop you from using the channels and watching their shows anyway. It's not like it's Netflix and it's locked behind a subscription before accessing it. You can literally go on the website, lie about you having one of them, and get to watching EastEnders ASAP in your comfy bed. You're chilling. And I know what some of you are thinking right now. But Waves, isn't that a crime? Oh my god, it sounds like a crime. It sounds like it's breaking the law. Nah, nothing happens most of the time. TV license enforcers can't just break into your house like they're the FBI and start searching like you got contraband on you. The most I see happen when they visit is people telling them to piss off outside the door and they just wait out there until they decide to leave. And then you pretty much get away with it. It's pretty easy. They move it like it's an unnecessary bill to be paying in the first place. They know it's stupid, man. That's why they don't go ahead to bum rush your yard. I see a lot of people all the time on the internet getting sent letters all the time saying somebody's gonna visit their house and they just go ahead to full on shred the papers and chuck the whole thing out. It's useless. Me personally, I don't use BBC or ITV as much. As it is a scam, I have Netflix. And occasionally I sail the 7 seas, so I'm chilling when it comes to shows. But the stupid things out of this country don't even stop there. I'm a legal adult, and one of the few things in my life I want to achieve by a certain age is to get my driving license like any other person. Buy a nice car, go drive.
I'll admit, he lives in London. I mean, he made it sound like learning to drive a car in London is going to be a nightmare because insurance is going to be so high. If you actually like live in close areas, it's hard to learn how to fucking drive. But yeah, like these are all, it just depends what situation. I've been very lucky in my childhood. Like I've never had money given to me, but all the money I've earned I've always usually been able to keep. Like my parents have never made me pay for rent, and then we went half on my car insurance for 2 years because you get it when you're 17. Didn't have a fucking, I did have a job, so I went half on that because it was like $2 fucking grand the first year. I couldn't pull $2 grand out my ass. But then like this year I paid for everything. But like I don't know.
Driving out sometimes, you know, makes travel and food shopping easier since I would be able to go anywhere, right? It's perfect. So I did what any other person does in the UK. I practice with my theory test, I book it, I pass that test, then take a couple of driver lessons and finally start looking for a practical driving test. So I can finally achieve my license and get to driving.
He's gonna say you have to wait like a year to 6 months to get a driving test booked, which is true. That is shit.
And I'm scrolling, and I'm scrolling, and I'm scrolling. And there's nothing! Not for the next few weeks, not for the next few months, not for the whole fucking year, because people in this godforsaken city resell driving tests. How do you resell a driving test? How does that work? It doesn't even make any sense. How's that possible? There's actually scalpers out here. Might be the same guys who were selling PS5s back in the day for 1K in 2020 that buy up a bunch of practical driving tests, forcing people's hands to buy it from them since they can't wait a flipping year to get a test. Theory tests expire every 2 years, which means that if you don't get a practical test done in those 2 years, you have to retake your theory. And that's long. But this isn't even the worst bit.
I admit that is a problem. Ever since COVID, it's fucked. I remember with mine, I was ready to take mine in like June, July. Didn't get one June, didn't get one July. Was gonna get one in August. And like, bearing in mind I started driving in April because my birthday's in April. Passed my theory like the day after my birthday, the earliest I could book it for. And then just wanted to take my fucking driving test and I had to wait like 3 months. And you're constantly on the cancellation app or like, I don't know about this reselling shit. I didn't realize that was a thing. Maybe it's a London thing. But you did have these cancellation apps where you'd have to just be on them, check it every hour, hoping that you get one and hoping that it goes through to you. And half the time it wouldn't. But yeah, Driving tests are shit here. I don't know what it's like in other countries.
A standard driving test costs about £62. True. That's how much it is to book it through DVLA and get it done through them. But if you're unlucky and decide to go through a scalper, it doesn't cost but 1, 2, 3, but 4 times what it would cost you normally. You'll be paying upwards of £200 to get a test, and it's not even a guarantee that you will pass it. The London pass rate is below 50%. It's you paying £200 to gamble on the possibility. They're scamming you.
That should be fucking illegal. I didn't even realize that was a thing.
And some of the drivers out here are nuts, overtaking everyone everywhere, driving 20 miles over the speed limit for no reason. They're crazy. You're probably gonna get hauled by another driver on your test and then go ahead to repeat the cycle with yet another scalper. How thoughtful. I don't understand how the government twiddles their thumbs like idiots and lets these men get away with it. I don't know how our society has become so deformed that people would actually go ahead to rinse money off a driving test. It ain't shoes, babe hoodies, my left nut. What sicko goes online to benefit off of this? And how are they even able to do it? It's stupid. The fact that people resell and profit off driving tests just lets you know that everything's gone to shit. Even driving in itself is a trap. I must have been scrolling through TikTok one day and I saw that they started introducing 10-mile-per-hour roads in London. Nigga, that's not even second gear. Your car's gonna stall there. How is that maintainable? Who decided that shit? With all these
10 mile an hour is fucking stupid because you just have to keep it in first gear, and keeping your car in first gear for extended amount of times is shit. I mean, you probably, you can do 10, but if you're constantly stopping and shit. When I'm on the way home, everyone's always speeding. Yeah, I had to drive in rush hour. I haven't driven rush hour traffic in like probably a year, bro, because I've just like been at home doing shit. So when I drive, I always drive like in the day or late at night. I drove in rush hour traffic to fucking paddle today. Oh my god. It makes you forget how to drive. Like I probably nearly crashed like 4 times.
Stupid laws they're making around transport, they're literally pushing people to just take TFL all the time, which also just dents their finances. It's some bullshit. And going back to finances once again, the housing crisis is terrible. I already mentioned earlier that 2,000 practically gets you nothing but a shoebox out here. The toilet and the sink is probably in the same place, and your bed is probably on top of the boiler. But besides this, let's say you want to own a home out here one day. Never happening. The prices of housing today in the city skyrocketed. The average person would never be able to ever pay off their mortgage fully. As soon as they're approved for one and get the crib, they're paying that shit till they're dead. Shit, I mean, they'll probably still be paying it after death. A mortgage is a bitch. And I'm not even adding the other things that come with buying a house. Utilities, bills, babies. You can't even manage to have more than one kid without breaking the bank out here. And I know certain men that wanted football teams full of kids. You man are cook. Also, the pricing of sweets and snacks now is stupid as shit. When I was still in secondary school, before I would turn up for form in the morning, which is like homeroom for you man in the US, I would go to a local corner shop near there and buy sweets and fizzy drinks. My usual, a 3-pack of Buzz, which would cost me about £1, and a 50p Emerge or Boost drink, which totaled £1.50. It was a bargain. You know, this shit was my daily go-gal. And this shit was busting, man. Like how certain people would go to Greg's in the morning and get a sausage roll every time. Now, bear in mind, these were prices before COVID. After COVID, when we were allowed to go back to school, I stopped eating sweets by then. But occasionally, every now and then, I would go back to make the same purchase. So I go back to the corner shop, and what I witnessed in there was daylight robbery.
£1.50 for his normal thing. It's going to be like packet of sweets. It's going to be like £1.65. I bet you it's going to be like £2.50, £2.75.
Went over to the Buzz packs, and there was no 39p for 1 pack, £1 for 3 pack that I usually used to get all the time. There was only a £1 giant pack of one type of sweet. And to the average person, you would think that's no big deal. Why are you moving fussy over it? You still get a pack for £1. No! There's no variety now. The point of the 3 packs for £1 is to mix and match. You go to Subway and when you get a foot long, you only get less in your sandwich. No! You throw some chicken in that bitch. When you get 2 flavors of ice cream, do you double down on the same flavor all the time? I'm guessing not. The point is, the whole thing that made this special was the fact that you can mix and match different types of sweets. And now that shit was gone. Not to mention I wouldn't always have £1. So the fact that there used to be 39p for 1 pack of any type of sweet, it was beneficial, it was essential. But now, there is no variety. There is no 39p 1 pack. Inflation hit them. It's some horse shit. And the drinks, the Emerge, the Boost, the KA grape I used to get. Now all of them are about 75p. How can we torture our future generation of children like this? How can we expect young people, secondary schoolers, to take money from their parents for these type of things? To take allowance for their parents for lunch money and charge prices like these? The man them can't even afford chicken and chips no more. That shit is overpriced as well. A flipping 3-5 is probably cheaper than this bitch. This is why people turn to crime. Chocolate bars are above 50p. My goat, the white Kinder Bueno is £1. Sometimes I find it for £2. I mean, if I'm hungry for that shit, I still buy that shit, man. But the point is, how can we put our children through this? It's a whole goddamn lie. I'm sick of it. It's barbaric. This shit is extortion. Not even Batman would stay here. He's a billionaire and he wouldn't be caught suffering like this. We need to do better, man. And even beside the financial issues, the atmosphere here just stinks. It's always pissed down cloudy with a bunch of rain. It looks like Gotham most of the time out here. And that's a crazy comparison to be making. Actually, it's really not. London is Gotham. The sun skips over the country most of the time, making it look like we ain't getting no heat around it. Like around 2 summers ago, I can't remember if it was either 2023 or 24, but for a whole summer out of these two, it just rained, pissed down for the whole of May through August. Wasted my entire holiday back then before I had to go back to school. It ruined it. But the biggest...
That is the fucking annoying thing. Americans have like 3 months, don't they? In the UK, we have 6 weeks. We have from... When do you break up? It's like middle of July, and then you have the whole of August. You go back like first week of September. You get all the good weather like June and July. And like even the end of May, you're fucking going into school, you're rolling your sleeves up, you're fucking absolutely sweating buckets, your tie's coming off, you know, your blazer's never on or anything. And then you go on, you know, you might go on your like holiday, the first week of the summer holidays, or you're just like the first week, everyone's like getting a bit active. And then for 5 weeks, it's just fucking miserable. It's just grey and soulless. And there's just nothing.
Day back then before I had to go back to school. It ruined it. But the biggest issue here that came to mind that I wanted to bring up here is that can-do attitudes are non-existent. Now, I'm nowhere near trying to label anything onto anyone or make anything stick. But a lot of people I've personally come across, whether that be on the internet or real life, are some of the worst motivated people in the entire planet. Everybody out here is fending for themselves as if communities aren't a thing. There's too much haters and a hive mind of negativity consumes the...
Hey, we got a community, boys. We got a fucking community. All right, don't listen to this shit. We're multicultural. We're global.
Activity consumes the place. If you wanted to tell somebody out here you have a dream, maybe to be a CEO one day, or a streamer, or a flipping trapeze artist.
I do tell no one. I used to tell people a lot about like content and videos and stuff, because I always thought there's 2 ways to look at it. It's like, oh, should I tell people and be like, oh, I'm telling them they might support me. If they don't, blah, blah, blah. And I can prove them wrong, right? Prove them wrong. But by telling people, I used to tell people about stream and YouTube videos. Now I just keep it all to myself. I have like one mate who does the editing stuff for me, so I talk to him quite a lot. And then I have one other mate who does some other like side hustle stuff, so we can kind of relate on that kind of thing. Because then you just like pop out of nowhere and then it's like, oh shit, I've made it. Whereas if you start telling people, I don't know, I think it's just kind of pointless.
Maybe to be a CEO one day, or a streamer, or a flipping trapeze artist, I don't know, but you got an aspiration, right? People out here will shut it down. There's no support. You're better off keeping it to yourself than to tell others you want to do certain things. If you were to be yourself and move a certain way completely different than how other people in the UK move, guys out here alienate and label it as cringe. Shut up, man. It's like difference here is labeled as weird. These men have nothing better to do with their time than to hate on you and what you could make of yourself. It's disgusting. I see more support in other countries and other places. People cheering each other on, supporting their bros, being proud of them and having good faith in them from the start. But for some God knows reason, when somebody wants to make a name for themselves in the UK, if they're even a fraction of unique or somewhat different than other UK creators and aren't just doing content or anything else the same way people generally already do it here, they get labeled as weird. People would say they're copying Americans and ultimately just have more negative stuff to say than good stuff.
Okay, why is this weirdly relatable? Why is he like just fucking zoomed into my life right now? Because that is kind of the thing with UK streaming. If I don't know how many UK streamers you lot know, but there's lots, right? But you don't have many that kind of go down the American route, and I kind of guess that's the route I've kind of gone down, like the just chatting. I don't just play a game, but I just don't enjoy the idea of just sitting and just playing a game. Like, on the odd occasion, yeah. I think people are just quite short-tempered here. But then again, I haven't really been to other fucking countries. I only know Ginger the Sidemen. Yeah, there are, like, other streamers, but there's no one like the FaZe lot. You've got a kind of new group, which is Ginge, and then he has a group called, like, the Bov Boys, and they're kind of getting on it, like, with the IRLs and stuff. But, yeah. I think we'll change the meta. And I guess you got like Marlon, but he was EU, but it's kind of the same thing.
Labeled as weird. People would say they're copying Americans and ultimately just have more negative stuff to say than good stuff. It always starts off with backbiting and spite than it is about helping and community building. I'm not saying this happened to me personally. For what it's worth, I've had a pretty decent build up so far, but against pure UK audiences, it's just weak. you might as well say nothing and keep it to yourself. If it ain't gonna help, go do something, bruv. You ain't got nothing better to do with your life or something. You weird. And every person I've seen that's left the UK on holiday or even just left to move out permanently, their life is low-key better. They're happy, smiling, fulfilled, working hard and living a positive life out there. And I'm not saying that isn't possible here. I mean, I am saying it isn't possible. It's the purge out here, bruv. It's just hella unlikely. Also, when people are on holiday and they realize that they have to come back here soon, they're low-key crying because they know this place sucks. I could try to defend England here and say it's definitely worth moving to if you're thinking about it. But then, come on, man, you know I'm lying. There's just a lot of bullshit going on here. And for somebody who was born and raised in, lived his entire life in London, the capital city, the place glorified on social media and made to look like it's a nice place, it is not all that nice. Don't get me wrong, it's my environment. My people are here, certain foods I like are here, and I'm just well accustomed to the area. Not to mention my whole life is here, bro. But I 100% know for a fact that my resting place isn't in England. Later down the line, I'm getting the hell out of here, man. Believe it. So this is all I wanted to say about the UK. It's probably a decent place if you're not coming to London. If you are thinking about taking a holiday to London or want to visit sometime, get your finances in order. That's all I want to say to you. There are some great things here and it feels like home a little, but it's still some bullshit. If you appreciate my warning here, give me a like. Write down what you think of what I told you about today. I'm tired. I'm about to conk out from all the screaming I did. Hope you guys have a great day and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Good video. I don't agree with all of it. Like, I think he was being dramatic on some parts of his channel. It's all a joke, by the way. Yeah, I understand he's being sarcastic. I think there's like a community problem. I can only speak within like the content and streaming stuff, but content has never been cool here. Like, you know how people always say, oh, you know, content never used to be cool like 10 years ago, and now everyone, you know, wants to be a streamer because it's cool. I'm not doubting that everybody wants to be a streamer, but there's still not like kind of a... Like, I feel like I could just go out in America and just IRL stream and no one would bat an eye. Obviously, I'm biased because I just see the phase lot. But, bro, if I whip out a fucking camera in the UK, fuck that. Yeah, I feel like the UK creators are just a bit more realistic and not fake. Yeah, I don't think it's that they're more real. I think it's just that they can't be asked to put on more of a persona, which is good in some ways. If you go outside with a camera, you might get some. I have genuinely thought about that. Like, going out on like a Friday or Saturday. Like, I couldn't do that. If for me to be outside doing it, I would need like average 100, 200 viewers and just 30 chatters to constantly look at my phone and like zone me out of the area. Because if I'm just walking around doing niche, fucking hell, you know what I mean? But I will do an IRL stream at some point later down the line. I might do a skateboarding stream. That's probably the best way to do it, so I can fucking move around. You have a lot of funny YouTubers in the UK. Like, you've got your AB. A lot of them are older now, though, because UK YouTube has, like, a real OG scene. Both Boys is the only streaming group. Just look at the FaZe Boys. They start tweaking if they don't read chat for a little. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, you have to have chat there to constantly back you up if you're IRL streamer. I feel that I don't have chat. I'd be mad awkward in public. Yeah, I would be awkward, but I think I'd be all right. I'm not like a super sociable guy, but if you get me yapping, I can talk. Anyway, that was sorry, I waffled at the end there. There's a W. The UK is a bloodborne map. If you value your happiness, you'll never move it. Since I also live in the UK, I'm basically obliged to watch any and every UK slander video. True, yeah.